been in this production of Raisin for about 2.5 years, and I was desperate to get out. Now, it was presented to me as something different. It was meant to be an askewed look at the black middle class as seen through the eyes of my working class father-in-law. Now, the title role, Grady, was played by Whitman Mayo. It was a spin-off of Sanford and Son, so I took it. It wasn't a very good sitcom. It never came up to its own promises, and it died after 9 weeks. But there were two events that I remember in particular. The first was that in the pilot I was a history teacher at UCLA. I lived in Santa Monica. But when the pilot was picked up, I was a phys ed teacher living in a much poorer neighborhood, and I was teaching high school. The second event was that we tried to get black writers onto the show, and we were told that black writers could not write for TV. Not that they were disallowed from writing for TV, but that they, as if we were not one of them, did not have the ability to write for TV. But fortunately, all of these things are in the past. Today there are shows like I'll Fly Away with stars like Regina Taylor. James Earl Jones had Gabriel's Fire, and I was lucky enough to be in Thomas Carter's Equal Justice. Not to mention such innovative shows like The Cosby Show, A Different World, and In Living Color. Film, however, has been quite a different story. Oscar Micheaux started a tradition that seems to have embedded itself deeply in our creative history. He was a shrewd and clever businessman who found original ways of raising money for his projects and selling them to the movie houses. His methods have been echoed by the likes of Robert Townsend and Spike Lee in their ability to finance as well as exhibit their products. For a while, after Micheaux, there seemed little hope that we could get our stories told, or if they were told by Hollywood. It also seemed that our image was distilled in the persona of one or two individuals, Sidney Poitier in particular. There were others, but Sidney was the black star. Sidney Poitier had to play every kind of black male Hollywood could write about. I often think what an awesome responsibility he must have felt. Once again, however, times have changed. There are still a small number of film stars, male and female, whose burden it is to guard our image on the silver screen, but there are more black filmmakers than there ever have been before. And that makes the task much less overwhelming, because it means that the more independent films being made, the more we can leap over the ruts that Hollywood finds themselves entrenched in, by creating films that talk about who we are and not what we are, that talk about the joys and ravages of the soul, as well as the oppression of the body. In 1968, when I was making my first baby steps in this business, unsure of exactly where I was going, black pride, black anger, and black is beautiful could be seen and heard on every street corner, in every theater, and on the lips of every black poet. As a people, we knew where we were going, what we wanted, and to what extent we were willing to go to get it. The one film that sticks out in my mind during that early time is Putney Swope, a film about an ad agency taken over by black power. Putney, the only black member of the board, is accidentally voted in as chief executive when the white chief executive keels over and dies on the table during the meeting. Putney is voted in by a landslide because everyone else on the board voted for him, thinking that nobody else on the board would. The movie was brilliant. It was a lampoon on what this country might be like if we took over. The 70s brought us more serious film about us as family. Sounder, Claudine, River Niger, and Sweetback's badass song. Sweetback. That startled us, offended some of us, but nonetheless grabbed our imagination. Melvin Van Peebles, its creator, had produced an irreverent black hero who outran, outfought, and outset our story. Our story is incredible.